Watching exciting movies no longer has to break the bank, and there are a ton of full movie franchises that can be streamed for free. Though streaming has made nearly every movie and TV show accessible to a larger audience, the increasing prices and copious platforms have put consumers in a bind. Thankfully, there are several free streamers out there. Though these free streaming platforms usually support ads, they are a gateway to a myriad of classic and new content. Within a few years of release, many Hollywood blockbusters find their way onto streamers like the Roku channel or Tubi, and are no longer hidden behind expensive paywalls. Even whole franchises can sometimes end up on free streaming. With franchises spread across multiple paid platforms, it can be nearly impossible to see everything without forking out a lot of cash each month. However, the free streamers do carry many complete movie series in a range of different genres. From all-time classics to hidden gems, great movie franchises are only a few, free, clicks away. The Expendables, Pluto TV and the Roku channel. Though it requires the use of two platforms, the four-movie Expendables franchise can be watched entirely for free. The action franchise has a simple but effective premise that involves a group of mercenaries who go on various deadly missions around the globe. Leaning into classic action movie cheese, the franchise hinges on its all-star cast of classic heroes. Each movie adds new action movie stars, and generally ups the ante with even more bombastic scenarios. The brilliance of the Expendables franchise is that it embraces the over-the-top silliness of its premise. The first 3 films in the series can be found on Pluto TV, while Expendables is on the Roku channel. The Godfather, Pluto TV. Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather is generally considered one of the greatest films ever made, and its sequel is an all-time classic too. The trilogy of Godfather films concern the machinations of the Corleone crime family, especially the rise and fall of reluctant gangster, Michael. Though there have been dozens of mob movies, The Godfather is the gold standard. Pluto TV carries all 3 films, though the notorious third installment appears under an alternate title. The free streamer carries the third movie under the title The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone, which features a new edit and some tweaks. Though different from the theatrical cut, Pluto TV has the whole story as Coppola originally intended. Ginger Snaps, Pluto TV. The Canadian horror classic, Ginger Snaps, put a new spin on the werewolf genre, and it's actually the first of a trilogy. Teen sisters enter puberty, and a chance encounter with a werewolf puts them on a path of destruction and violence. Though initially revered as a creepy gem, Ginger Snaps has since been re-examined for its complex themes. While the cult classic original is well known in horror circles, its 2 sequels continue to fly under the radar. What's most surprising about Ginger Snaps 2, Unleashed and Ginger Snaps Back is that they are both excellent movies in their own right. With all 3 films for free on Pluto TV, the underrated trilogy can finally get its due. Crocodile Dundee, Pluto TV. The Crocodile Dundee franchise is a joke stretched out across 3 movies, but the trilogy does have some nostalgic value. The 3-movie series involves a backwoods poacher from Australia going to the United States and clashing with the culture of the big city. With campy charm and quotable lines, the first movie is a quintessential 80s comedy. Unfortunately, the 2 sequels are lackluster at best, and fail to capture the same essence of the 1986 original. The Crocodile Dundee movies are products of their time and must be taken with a fair amount of rose-tinted nostalgia. Since Paul Hogan's charisma is the real key to the franchise, all 3 movies have at least one strength. Friday, Tubi. Ice Cube was already known as a rapper-turned-actor when he starred in Friday, but the mid-90s hit made him a comedy megastar. Cube plays a recently unemployed man who has to put up with the various trials and tribulations of his life over the course of one day. Through copious humor, Friday offers insight into urban life in that era. Friday is one of the greatest R-rated comedies of the 1990s, and its cultural reach is still felt today. Its 2 sequels are subpar, but are fun little romps in their own right. Tubi offers all 3 films for free, so Friday, Next Friday, and Friday After Next can be watched in one sitting as the ultimate stoner comedy marathon. Death Wish, Tubi and Pluto TV. The Death Wish franchise started as a gritty thriller about rising crime in the US, and grew into a bombastic action series. Charles Bronson stars as an unassuming man who takes matters into his own hands by dispensing vigilante justice after his family is assaulted. Though controversial, the first Death Wish movie spoke to common concerns in the 70s. As a goofy action franchise, the Death Wish movies are endlessly entertaining fodder. Pluto TV carries the first film in the 5-movie series, while Tubi offers the remaining 4. Tubi also offers the 2018 remake, though it's mostly a rehash of old ideas. Across 2 decades, the Death Wish franchise delivered consistent thrills, and now they're all available for free. The Twilight Saga, Pluto TV credit, Summit Entertainment via Moviestills DB. The Twilight Saga was one of the most polarizing pop culture phenomenons of the 2000s and 2010s, but there's no denying it was endlessly popular. Teenager Bella Swan falls in love with a vampire, and is thrust into the supernatural underworld. The first movie was a smash hit, and kicked off a supernatural romance craze that dominated cinemas and bookstores. The 5-movie series had legions of devoted fans, and very vocal detractors during its initial run. However, there has been a wave of nostalgia for the Twilight series that has made it a staple on streaming. Pluto TV carries the series in its entirety, meaning the guilty pleasure, or not, franchise is available at no cost. Grown-ups, Pluto TV. Though there has been a lot of clamor for Grown-ups 3, the Adam Sandler franchise is currently holding at only 2 installments. The duology concerns a group of grade school friends who reunite as adults in an attempt to rekindle their old bond. With a cast consisting of Sandler's usual roster of co-stars, Grown Ups is delightfully lowbrow. Both films hold Rotten Tomatoes scores of 10% or less, but they aren't made to be critical darlings. As mainstream comedies become more and more rare, the Grown Up series exists as a relic of a bygone era. Consistently popular on streaming, the 2-movie series stands as proof that Sandler's tried-and-true comedy formula just works. Star Trek, the Roku Channel. Rebooting the classic Star Trek universe with an all-new cast was a big gamble, but J.J. Abrams' take on the franchise was a huge hit. The Kelvin Universe trilogy follows Captain Kirk and the Enterprise crew as they explore the galaxy on various missions. Eschewing the thoughtful approach of classic Trek, the Kelvin movies went for the gusto. Since the chances of a 4th movie seem slim, the Kelvin trilogy will remain as such. While they may divide Trekkies, the modern Star Trek movies are fun and action-packed adventures with a bit of old-school charm as well. The Roku Channel has all 3 films in its library for free, so the final frontier is closer than ever. Rush Hour, Pluto TV.